In this video, I'm going to be doing my best to teach you how to be a really good light player, and better yet, a good light teammate in Season 5 of the finals. I made a video a lot like this one around 6 or so months ago, and you all seem to have really liked it. But the game has changed a bit since then, and I thought, honestly, I could do better. So I've managed to compile how to play every light specialization currently in the game into this video so that you can see how they play differently and also how they end up playing a little bit similarly too. So without further ado, let me show you how you can be a better light teammate. To begin this match, I'm going to use my faster movement that I get as a light player to get this cash box started for my team. But from there, I'm going to play a little bit off to the side while my teammates are going to play in the main space. Really quickly, to start things off, I want to kind of explain to you how you should be playing as a light in 2025, because we're going to be seeing this concept in a lot of the gameplay to come. You need to play with your team, but not on your team. What this means is that you should be a little ways away from your team, basically enough so that the enemy's first instinct is to shoot your medium and heavy, and then that's when you can use your utility and DPS to really make that engagement favor you as you engage from the side or the back. After this cash out is started, I'm going to go play from this area slightly away from my team. Ideally, when you're picking these spaces, you need to ask 3 things. Can I easily rotate to my team? Does this area have cover? And is there an option for escape? So while I hold this area a little ways from my team, it's important that as a light you are able to scout things out. But this doesn't just have to be visual. You can also listen for where your enemies are too. So let's replay this clip and cut the background music so that you can listen in.
Some revenge. The overdogs better be ready for a fight. Threat detected. Watch out, over here.
Right then, you can hear the enemy team rotating over from the rooftops, so I rotate back closer towards my team. Now, since the cash out is much closer to completion, anyone who wants to get it is going to act a little bit more impulsively because they just don't have much time left. So I change up my positioning to wait on the rooftop instead to apply immediate pressure instead of waiting underneath and playing the long game. Now, a little later in this match, Purple gets a double cash out, and I think this is a great opportunity to showcase how to be very effective in chaotic situations. Note how in this opening engagement, I strafe behind this player so that his attention is solely on the heavy instead of me. From there, I'm going to play on height and just get as much poke damage as I can on the teams down below. I'm only going to drop down once I've gotten a good advantage on the enemy team to finish the fight. After my teammate takes the cash out, it's right back to taking off angles again to make sure nobody else gets to it. But when the vault is nearly up and my sightline gets blocked, I'm going to go up and use my taser to secure the vault even if I end up dying. Next up, I'm going to use my cloak to wait behind this cover until I get a really good opportunity to engage. If you have cloak, it's a good habit to make sure that you always use it when you reload. I see gunshots from that opening right there, so I toss a glitch nade to help secure the fight for my team and start moving up. Once again, letting my team push up instead of me and staying in the backline where I'm the most valuable. I'm going to take a slightly different path and try to take out some players on orange before my team gets to the cash out. At this point, we are basically guaranteed the win, and all we have to do is just sit back and relax. Now, before we get to Dash, I have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy my content, subscribing is one of the best ways to help me and my channel. We're getting really close to 12,000 subscribers, so if you like the finals and want to help me get to 12k, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. Now, let's take a look at how to play Dash. This spec is definitely much more aggressive than Cloak, and allows you to play a little differently. You'll notice I use Gateway to get an early flank on the enemy team's spawn. Dash allows me to play pretty aggressively on flank while keeping some survivability. But once I've used up all of my dashes, I've got to play a little bit more safe. After I deposit this cash box, I'm going to put a gateway up to allow me or my team to follow through with some additional stall. It seems like my team wants to stay above the cash out, so I go up with them and play in an off-angle room. Normally, this positioning here can be a little dangerous for light, but dash allows me to easily rotate to the rooms below me very quickly if I need to escape. I'm going to stay out of the enemy team's way and just get some damage in from the side. I get a little greedy for kills here, and I do end up dying, but it's enough damage for my teammate to easily win. I'm going to go right back to scouting for enemies, but when I hear them below, I'm going to rotate again very slightly towards the cash out. So when they push up, I'm going to engage and use my stun to escape when it gets a little bit dangerous. One of the best ways to get value from Gateway is to use it to transport the cash box. It's a little hard to always do this on Vault 1, but once you get to Vault 3 and beyond, you usually don't always have to fight people. Getting the cash out early doesn't just help you get guaranteed cash, it's also going to put your team in a state of pacing advantage, which means if you want to, you could go after the other cash box or the other cash out since yours was deposited much earlier. It's a little bit hard to coordinate this with random teammates, but if you have a team that has good comms, this is definitely something I recommend practicing. Once again, placing a gateway over the cash out both as an escape option and to pressure opponents. Once we're at this final vault, our only real threat is if orange doubles and pink team gets ahead of us on kills. So I'm going to get the flank on pink team here to help out the team. In a situation like this, I could go after the cash out, but resetting your team can also be important, and with the amount of teams in this area right now, I'd probably just die trying to defend it anyways. So instead, I'm going to wait up here on this high ground to see if I can keep getting kills so we can stay ahead of pink. I'll use my gateway to rotate back up to high ground, and by playing smart, we're able to win. Now that we're moving on to grapple, I should really mention that there's about 2 types of grapple playstyles. The first one is long range grapple, which is focused on positioning and off angles. And the second one is the aggressive grapple, which is reliant on flanking and getting in and out extremely fast. To start off, let's take a look at the long range grapple. I'm going to grapple up to height immediately and try to get some damage in on the enemies. I've played this game a lot, so I have a pretty good idea of where people tend to spawn at the beginning of the match, which allows me to get a crazy advantage for my team just by using grapple like this. Now, using grapple in Gateway is one of the most powerful strategies in the first 2 rounds of tournament, as it can transport the cash box quite a long ways almost immediately. Placing a vortex near the cash out can also be a great stalling tool, especially if you play a little further away, which tends to happen if you play with grapple. I'm immediately looking for the best high ground position at this point to get early damage on enemies who might be attacking us. Here, I'm a bit out of position with my team, so I trigger the vortex and group back up. Even though they completely blocked off the cash out, Vortex stalls it long enough for it to not really matter. There's now only one left on their team, so I use my utility to keep him locked in that room until my team can go in and push up. Now, grapple allows me to do a neat little trick here. I can grab my teammate and jump off the ledge, but it's just a fake, and I grapple back up and take out the last player. So hopefully all of those things give you a good idea of how to play grapple. If you combine this with the other tips that I gave for light earlier, it's a lot like the other specializations, except it's very positioning focused. But aggressive grapple is kind of different. The first thing you might notice is that instead of taking height, I'm going to rotate for a sneaky flank. The whole point of this playstyle is to get in, deal lots of damage, and get out super quickly.
Size each other up. We've got our first elimination of the match. Get ready for some hard cut.
When I get shot at here, I retreat immediately because that's not a favorable fight. If you're a light player, always try to be taking fights that give you the clear advantage. Don't test your luck. Because I know Orange Team has 2 heavies, I'm going to play in this room here that has a vent in it and only 1 door. My team gets killed, but I'm able to grapple in and finish the 2 players they were fighting. It's just a 1v1 from here, and I need to be very careful, so I use my gateway to reposition. I figure this guy grabbed his teammate's statue, but he can only get 1. So if I'm able to res this teammate, we will have advantage over them. Now at this point, I'm once again kind of scouting, but I'm mainly listening for audio. Let's play this clip back again to see if you can hear it.
What a way to open the match. The power.
Here I'm going to get a flank on this heavy, and when he runs out of ammo, I'll go for the tase, which is basically a guaranteed kill for me. Now at this point, all three teams are trying to go for this cash out. This means that I have to try and control the chaos. I only push in when it's advantageous for me. And at this point in the game, there's really no way we can lose. And a lot of this was because of that gateway grapple combo. Well, that was a lot of stuff to go over in this video, but hopefully the concepts are pretty clear. I want to give a special shout out to all my channel members, and if you want to find out how to be insane with the dematerializer, click this video here.